Hello, I'm Miss RKB. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I wanted to give my review, my critique of Megan Thee Stallion's new documentary. In her words, it is #4 trending in the US. So congratulations to Megan Thee Stallion. I wasn't going to watch this documentary. I know a lot of people, when they see celebrities do documentaries and it's about their personal life, they love it. They suck it up. They love, the gossip, or they're just nosy. I feel like for me, I knew it was going to be kind of like a hard watch, I guess you can say, because I know some of what Megan has been going through. I know not only just the Tory Lanez situation, but I know that she lost both of her parents. And, she's just been going through a lot. So I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to see her go through that. I didn't, so that was kind of why. And I feel like you can take away some things from this documentary. And even though I watched it, I won't say I watched it as a fan. I kind of just watched it as an unbiased viewer. But I think if you are a Megan fan, or if you're just a viewer like myself, I really think you should go and watch it. And I'm happy that I did. It was kind of just Megan showing people her point of view, getting her words across in her words, letting people know I'm speaking, and y'all sit down for once and just watch and listen. Let me get it all out. And it's just everything from basically a life story. Who is Megan? And I didn't really know a lot about Megan, to be honest. Like, I feel like I am a fan. I've always liked her. I think I recently just became a fan of Megan, to be honest with y'all. But I kind of liked being in her setting, kind of like a day in a life. And I feel like I understand now. I understand more. I know a lot of the haters are trying to say, oh, she wants sympathy. I don't think that's really what I got out of this. I didn't get that. I just kind of got, here are my scars, here's my wounds, this is what I've done, this is what I've been through, and look how I overcame it. That's what I got from it. But I'm going to break it down. Spoilers. It is spoilers. So if you haven't seen it and you would like to, maybe watch this after. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna spoil it. I'm gonna tell everything. Okay, all right, let's go. And I first want to say I really didn't know she had that much footage, behind the scenes footage, but I did. I loved all the footage, and it was just put together so well. It told a great story, and I loved the little anime cartoon. It really added, and I love that. It looked good. It was a great production. I want to start there. But it opens up just kind of who Megan is as an artist, how she exudes confidence, right? She speaks for the women. She empowers women, right? You see a lot of women saying, oh, Megan made me more confident. She made me comfortable with my body, or just comfortable with my sexuality and expressing myself. I love Megan, so I love that. They're just kind of showing like the impact that Megan has as an artist. So that's kind of how it opens up. Not only is it about Megan Thee Stallion, but they go back in time and they talk about who Megan was before that. She was Megan Pete. Her real name, honey. I said that's her last name, Megan Pete. They go into who she is, right? How she grew up. And I love that they highlighted her mother. I knew her and her mother were close, but I love how you can more so like see their relationship in this documentary. And I love too their relationship, because even though her mother was her mother and she still acted like a mother, she was also like the best friend. She would really like coach Megan and make her her best. Her mama was recording all them videos of her rapping and freestyling. Her mama was behind the camera. She would be outside in her car or by the car. I didn't know that was her mama car. So her mom was her biggest supporter, #1 fan. And, I love that, like, her mom would tell her, like, nah, do it over. Twerk harder. Say it like this. So it was just beautiful to see that bond that they had. Also, too, you just start seeing like the growth of Megan. So for those that don't know, like her mom was a rapper, right? Megan grew up around music. Her mom did music. She was a rapper. She would watch her mom write and freestyle to music or instrumentals. Her mom had a crazy variety of music that she would listen to. So that's where Megan gets all her musical inspiration from, right? So you see kind of like Megan on her come up, and you see her mom right there beside her. She's rehearsing, she's doing all these performances. I love that. It's kind of like you see Megan in grind mode. You know, before she came up, you see her performing at bars, right? She doing all these shows. And Big Ol' Freak is blowing up, right? That's the song that like put her on. And as I was watching her, you know, just perform and grind, it really let me see like Megan is truly a star. She's a great performer. And it was only a matter of time before she reached the level that she's at now. But she really worked hard for it. She grind for it. Okay? And you see her mom starts becoming like her manager. And it was a particular moment in the documentary where her mom was like on a piano. And then Megan, she's like, come over here. Megan joins her. And she's trying to tell Megan, like, do this. You know, and at first she started off simple. She might have hit one or two keys, right? And then she just starts playing the piano. And Megan's like, you expect me to do all that? But I just love that, like, her mom definitely had the gift of music, and that's where Megan gets it from. And I just think that it's beautiful that even though her mom is gone, Megan can continue the legacy that her mom started. So I feel like that's beautiful, that her mom basically gave her the torch. Like, it started with me, but I'm giving it to you, and you about to go off, honey. You about to go off. She did talk about her dad briefly. I don't think she was as close to her father. I think her father was, she said that her father was locked up like during her childhood. Once she got older, he was around, and they showed pictures of her dad. She looked like her daddy a little bit. She got her daddy nose. But anyway, her dad passed when she was in high school, I believe she said. He had a heart attack. So my condolences, honey. I can't imagine losing both parents. And then her mom, she talks about how her mom just kind of got sick out of nowhere. And she had to call 911, and they found a tumor in her brain. And she kind of just went downhill. And I didn't know this, but Megan had to make that decision. I think it was a time where her mom kept having seizures back to back to back, and she was basically brain dead, right? So Megan had to make that decision, which I can't imagine ever having to do this for any family member. But Megan had to make the decision to basically pull the plug, right? So I didn't know that. And it just really made me have so much respect for Megan, because even though she may not feel like it, you're such a strong woman. But yes, she had to make that hard decision. And in the documentary, she also mentions how like her mom had the pep talk with her, like before she got really bad and started having seizures. Her mom sat her down and had a pep talk. And that's when she said she knew, right? And I feel like, and I know from my life experiences, your loved ones, they know when they finna leave. They know. And that's usually how it happens. If they're able to speak, they will. They'll start getting and showing signs of like, I'm about to leave here, you know? So, And I want to say right here, I'm so proud that Megan kept going. Cause I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. We have to put ourselves in these positions. I probably would have gave up. My mom is gone. This is my number one fan. Always in my corner. I turn around, there she go. You know, she's helping me. It's so easy just to give up, y'all. Grief can take you out of here. So for her to keep going, I just want to give you much respect for that, Megan, that you kept going. And then it was at this moment, because she kept going, it's like when her mom passed, this was like the pivotal moment of her career. Like she was inclining as a new artist. You know what I'm saying? So they're showing her career kind of like taking off. And it's just so bittersweet because she doesn't have her mom to enjoy it with, right? And right here, I caught the shade a little bit. In her career, you have to speak on the collab she had with Nicki Minaj. But I feel like, Megan Thee Stallion, everybody knows she was a hot girl anthem. They had the song Hot Girl Summer. They did play a snippet of the song, and y'all know the music video came out. That's the music video that Nicki Minaj was in. They didn't mention it. They didn't show Nicki. They mentioned in the documentary her other female collabs. They did not even highlight Nicki Minaj at all. So I understand, I get why, but I had to just acknowledge the shade that was thrown, okay? Okay, Meg. We're still kind of going through the journey of Megan Thee Stallion, right? Her career, how everything's happening so fast. And they start showing Kelsey, her best friend. And not only was Kelsey just her best friend, they go into how Kelsey was her day one. It's a difference between having a best friend and a day one, right? Let alone both. So they just kind of go into like what their relationship was like. And I feel like, what they had, it was beautiful to see on camera. And I hate that they're not friends anymore. Kelsey was also there a lot of the times during, the whole blow up of Megan. Like she was there before the blow up, and then they show how she was there through the blow up. And it was even a scene where I think Megan was at the BET Awards, and it was like a moment of like, we made it, her and Kelsey was celebrating. So that's her day one, not just her best friend. So we're kind of starting to see Megan, I'm not going to say spiral, but it's getting to her. And that's the thing with grief. You have to kind of heal from it because it's not going to go anywhere. You have to go through it. You have to face it. So she wasn't going through the grief. She didn't want to feel the grief, the pain, right? So she started self-medicating, right? And it shows how she kind of started drinking. And that's what can happen. If you don't heal, if you don't deal with trauma, if you don't deal with the grief, you'll start dabbling into drugs and alcohol and sex. It's very much a thing, guys. Very much a thing. She's in this phase of like, I don't want to feel nothing. I don't want to have to deal with it. I'm trying to ignore how I feel. So they kind of show how she, is coping with alcohol. And then they go into how she met Tory Lanez and how they were friends and they became friends because, they both lost their parents or their mothers, right? The whole situation that happened, right? With the Tory Lanez and her friend Kelsey. She tells her story of what happened that night. And it's very vague. It's very vague. I wish we kind of would have stayed right there for a little bit in the documentary. But she explains what happened. But the truth is, all of them were pretty much not sober. So they don't really remember probably exactly what happened. And when I thought about it, I was like, nobody probably even knows what happened that night. Not even them. But I think there was a bodyguard that was there. And I think he was sober. He was the driver. So he's probably the only one that can kind of say what happened. But she kind of tells this story, which is not really telling the story. And I'm still really lost as to what happened that night. I don't really know. But all that we know is that Tory Lanez pew-pewed her. That's pretty much all she said. And it was an argument. He pew-pewed. That's pretty much all that we got. And I feel like everything is over with, right? Tory Lanez is locked up. So I really wish that Megan would have like just told everything, right? Because I mean, it's not gonna matter. You don't have to go to court. Like all that's been done, right? I thought she would have at least now told what happened. But maybe this is some old footage. Maybe it could have been old footage. And even though she was the victim, right? I kind of wanted her to take a little bit of accountability for her actions. And I know y'all might be like, how dare you? But I'm being honest, but from what I recall, I think there was like a whole altercation. Her and her friend got into it, right? And then Tory was like in the middle. Her and her friend fell out, basically. You went behind my back and messed around with this guy. And it's always over a guy. It's like their relationship is not the same anymore because of a guy. They let a guy get in between them. Apparently, they both was messing with Tory at the same time, honey. Like Future say. So they go into WAP, right? Her collab with Cardi B. And they just talk about like the impact of WAP, which it was an impact. And when you have impact like that, you're going to have some criticisms. So with that, they were kind of showing like the critiques. They were showing like how people were viewing Megan Thee Stallion. And not only her, I feel like it was Cardi B too. But, you know, it was a lot of criticism and all these bloggers and the news was reporting on it. So they kind of show all of that and how her perception kind of started changing. You've had this incident, and now WAP is out. And she was saying how because of how people were viewing her, they just saw her more so as like a sex symbol and not really protecting her. You were starting to see people kind of take sides and siding with Tory Lanez. And she was just kind of like in her protect black woman era. I kind of feel like the reason why a lot of people were going live, because I think Tory Lanez was going live and you know, it was just a lot of people going live and talking mess around that time. But it was 2020. It was a time of COVID, right? So everything was on the internet. Like our whole world kind of shut down for a moment. I remember y'all remember the battles was going on. The versus battles was going on, right? Like going live was a thing back then. It was real big. I think Tory Lanez had like a live show. A lot of Twitch and streamers like that were getting really big. Like streaming and going live was really a big thing. Just being on the internet was big in 2020, right? A lot of people were tuned in on the internet because they wasn't working. They wasn't able to leave their homes. Everything is now on the internet because of that reason. And also too, if y'all remember, Megan made a live, right? She called Tory out. She said, nigga, you poo-pooed me. You. Now what? Yeah, he did it. Y'all remember that? So I'm just saying, like, I think that kind of opened up the wave of, like, everybody going live. Everybody on the internet talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So in the midst of all the, I guess right now is kind of like controversy. So right now in the midst of all the controversy, right, Megan goes on Gayle King to like kind of silence everybody, right? She went on Gayle King and lied. Everybody knew she lied. Everybody knew you lied, boo-boo. Thank you for admitting it, but everybody knew. Everybody knew. She paused. Do you mean like a sexual relationship? Duh. But my thing was like, boo-boo, if you gonna lie, at least make it believable, you know? That's why I was upset. I wasn't even mad that she lied. It was just like, girl, you didn't make it believable though. Like, we knew you lied. And I don't know even why you really answered the question, to be honest. I feel like Honey do like these politicians. Y'all notice they don't never answer the question. And it goes back to media training. And I don't think it's just Megan. A lot of artists in today's generation, they don't have artist development, right? They're not media trained, okay? And I wish people would help people like Megan, who was in your corner. Like, how they let you do this? Maybe I need to be helping people. I don't know. But, girl, I would have sat there and said, Gayle, look, call her by her name. I'm going to be totally honest in this time. Respectfully, I don't think that is relevant to my case. I am a victim. I want my voice to be heard. That's why I came to you, because I know you can do that. I don't feel like that question is appropriate. I think it's an irrelevant question, whether I slept with him or not. Look, you answering the question, though. Whether I slept with Tory Lanez or not, I want to focus on what was done to me. Tory Lanez, pew pew me. Girl, help me. That fool tried to kill me, right? If you don't want to answer the question, don't answer the question. But if you gonna lie good. Shoot, no, I did not. Look, before she even finished, no, I did not. And I'm appalled that you're asking me this, because this is irrelevant to my case. It's irrelevant, Gayle. Does that matter? Look, ask her the question. Does that matter if I did or if I didn't? See, I be playing mind games. Does it matter if I did or if I didn't? But yeah, Megan, I just wish you was media trained. But it's all good, girl. We knew you lied. But I feel like people took this because they were already biased of Tory Lanez. So they took what she said and turned it against her. And I will say it was a lot of holes in her story. Because like I said, nobody knew what the hell happened. Everybody was drunk. So it was a lot of holes in the story. And I feel like that's why people were so quick to, oh, well, this, and this. Or this, and this could have happened. Or she said this, and this. Or she lied about this, and this. So everybody was just kind of like stating their opinion in a way. And they kind of like started showing like a lot of the media personalities who always talking-ish, always got something to say. And I just want to say, at the end of the day, Megan is still human. And the internet is a horrible place, right? They're horrible. They don't have empathy. They don't have compassion. You can literally be dying. I'll never forget how the internet did Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace. So I really wish that like Megan really had the right people in her corner who could have told her, boo-boo, turn that off. Give me your phone. You don't need to get on the internet. Just for her mental health. Because that can be a lot when you have all this scrutiny on the internet. And I feel like that's kind of like the main reason why sometimes she would crash out or do certain things, because the internet is a horrible place. And a lot of people will be against you because it's cool. It's popular to hate on Megan. It's popular to say she's a liar. So you see all these media platforms just throwing dirt on Megan's name. And before it goes into the next part of the documentary, this part really did something to me. It just hit me. But Megan was talking and she said, in quotes, something like, if my mama was still here, I wouldn't be in this situation. And I felt that. I felt that. I felt that entirely. And it may be true. So now the documentary is going into her making her Trauma-Zine album. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but Trauma-Zine was a great album. I think that might be her best album. Good News is also probably a good album too, but Trauma-Zine I feel like is very slept on. But that's one of the best albums. She did a great job on that album. And we need more records like Plan B. I'm just speaking as a fan now, but I just wanted to say that and stand on that, even though a lot of people will disagree. That was a great album, Megan. And it's sad that when you're going through the most, that's when you make the best music. And I just love seeing Megan in grind mode. Like I said before, even though right now she's going through it with all the stuff she's dealing with, it really shows her determination, her discipline, her work ethic. Right in this moment, I just have so much respect for Megan because she's still going, y'all. She's still going. She's breaking barriers. She's doing these performances. Even though she don't feel comfortable, her anxiety is through the roof. She done went through a whole experience of where she could have lost her life. So I just want Megan to know that, like, I don't know if she's ever going to see this, but there are people who are rooting for you. There are people that you are touching that's watching you, and you're giving them motivation. You're inspiring them. And just me seeing what you went through is so inspiring. I myself lost one of my parents, so I can't imagine losing both. And just to be able to reach the limits or reach the success that you have, right? Or that you did at that time, that's a beautiful thing. And I really hope that even though she seems like she's in a better place, I really hope that you just continue to blossom and continue to grow. And I hope that you find peace. I hope that you can find healing. And I just want much success. And I hope that you just continue to build your craft and make exceptional music that can inspire and motivate people, that can turn us up, get us dancing. Keep doing what you're doing, mama. And the sky is not even the limit. I'm rooting for you. That's all I'm saying. A lot of people love to focus on the numbers, and I know, Megan, it's hard. Like, you probably always go to, like, people who are not for you. But I just want to challenge you to focus on the people who are buying and who are buying your records, who are buying your tickets, who are supporting you, who are listening to your music, who are writing good comments under your pictures. I challenge you to focus on that and just keep that tunnel vision for the people that you're touching and impacting every day. Let that be the focus and let that be your motivation. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't focus on the numbers so much. Focus on your craft, mama. Focus on being a great person, period. So she got the key to her city around this time. And then also, too, they're going into how, like, Tory Lanez was kind of, like, nitpicking, which I didn't know he was doing this. But she was saying how he was, like, texting her and she had to block him and she had to get a restraining order. It was a music video where he was cutting horse legs or something crazy. I said, I didn't even know he did all that. So he was kind of taunting Megan. And I do remember he made a whole album, right? So he did. He got all his benefits out of this situation when it was happening. I'm sure he got all the money, out of the situation. I hate that he didn't take it serious. Even if he feel like he's innocent, at the end of the day, a GUN still went off. Something happened. She was injured. And for him to just act like he didn't do anything, that was kind of off-putting to me, very off-putting to me. And right now she's talking about, just preparing for the trial and how she don't want to go through with it. She don't want to deal with nothing that happened. She almost kind of want to run from the situation, but they show the trial and they show how Megan had to get on the stand and face everybody. And I love how she put it in the documentary. She was like, even though she wanted to cry and be vulnerable in that moment of being on the stand, she said something just came over her and she was like, I got to protect Megan Pete. Right? So she stood her ground. She said, it's okay to feel sad, but right now in this moment, I can't be weak. I got to stand up for myself, tell what happened, tell my story. So the whole trial, they're showing everything, right? The trial is happening. Now you see her waiting. Everybody's waiting for the guilty verdict, right? And you see like her people from her team like waiting with her. She's waiting at this mansion. It's a beautiful place, by the way. She's waiting. She's so nervous. She can't sleep. Finally, you hear somebody get a text, and she's on her phone, and she's reading it. Guilty, guilty, guilty. And she hugs Megan, and Megan lets out this cry, y'all. You could just tell it was like a cry of like relief. Like, finally, justice has been served. Yeah, she's weeping, she's crying. I almost had to look away, y'all, because I wasn't trying to be crying, but I could just tell like weights were lifted off of her, and she was just saying how she thinks God and how she know now that it is a God, which it is. And after she kind of talks about how she instantly thought she would be this different person, but she still had to kind of go through it. And I didn't know that she did do therapy, because I was through the whole documentary, I was like, why is this girl not getting help? But she did. She started going to therapy. And you start kind of seeing where she's like, okay, I'm feeling a little better. You know, I'm getting there. And it kind of just shows at the end of the documentary, she is in a better place, but it's a continuous thing. Every day, every morning you wake up, you constantly have to work on yourself, right? And you have to just accept things about yourself. And feel free to feel. It's okay to feel. And even if you feel and you don't feel okay, it's okay. But they showed Megan kind of like where she is today and how she's dropped her Megan album. Megan Act 2 is out as well. I got reactions to both of those albums on my main YouTube channel. But it just kind of shows that, like, you know, Megan got through it, and it's just her story of what happened, and you kind of see the light being shed onto her. And I think for the most thing, even though this is still a moment of her life, and it's like she said, probably the worst year, the worst time in her life that she had, but it's still what you went through, and it's going to always be a part of you. How you react to it is really what matters. And I'm just glad that, like, Megan, it's kind of like she put a period, right? It's kind of like the end of the chapter, even though it's not all the way over with, because it still happened to you. But it's kind of like, look, I'm closing the book, and I'm going to put it over here on this shelf. It ain't going nowhere, but I'm going to put it over here on this shelf. And you know, if I have to pick it up and read it, I will. But I'm going to put this away, and I'm focusing on what's ahead of me. So I know that this documentary was shot, and it was probably saved for a time like this where she could put it out. I'm glad she got to put it out. I'm glad she got to put her words out there for people to listen, whether they want to receive it or not as truth. That's up to the people. But I just hope that Megan can kind of like move on to bigger and better things and not always have this that happened to her like a cloud over her head, because I feel like it interferes a little bit. It's who she is, but it's only a small part of who she is. And she's still growing as a woman. She's still young. So I don't even think she's 30 yet. So Megan, there's so much more life for you to live, woman. Okay. Keep going. All right. I hope you don't sue me. Girl, I'm talking in love, okay? I ain't trying to hurt you, girl. I ain't trying to tarnish your name. But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much the documentary. Y'all let me know what your thoughts were about it. What was your critiques? Did you enjoy it? Will you be watching it? I think you should go watch it. I really enjoyed it. And this is my commentary channel. Going to be doing more movie reviews, movie reactions. So please do, if you like this video, hit the like button. Also subscribe, okay? I'm going to start posting more consistent on this channel. All right. I'll see y'all on my next one.